Leah.
Hi, Kamna.
So how is your Thanksgiving prep going?
I'm gonna rename me because I forgot to do that while I'm on here. But my Thanksgiving prep is going okay. How about you?
It's fair. My fridge has never been so full just from buying like all the
Oh my
pre
gosh,
stuff.
you just reminded me I forgot to take my pie out. Oh my gosh. All right. Before we leave, remind me. Okay.
And I've made 100 trips to the store, but I still missed like flour and you
I
know,
know, doesn't it that's the maddening part when you're like, I got it all, and then no, you don't.
yeah.
You don't.
Well,
You just
that
don't.
actually is connected to the topic we're talking about today, which is the battle versus the war.
Yeah.
So
And this was brought up by one of our CTA members.
yes, she was talking about sometimes being disappointed in not being able to do what she wants to do, but at the if she looks at the whole picture, she's actually doing fantastic. So in the
Yes.
moment, she's disappointed, but the whole picture shows that she's doing great.
I'm even like looking at it as like sometimes you gain weight and that's like a little battle you might have lost, but in the big picture, you're still winning the weight loss war.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely.
Because this is a harder topic for me to for some reason wrap my head around. So this will be fun for us to dive into.
I think so. And I think it's, if you really think about it, it's very relatable.
Hmm.
But you don't really think about it on a day-to-day basis, which is where all the battles are fought. So
Yeah. And sometimes you need to.
yeah, I agree.
So all right. So we interviewed our sugar detox person last
Hmm.
week.
Hmm.
But before we recorded that, but you and I didn't get caught up on our call to actions.
Right.
So what was yours and how did it go?
Mine was to start thinking about organizing my cabinets and my drawers. And I feel like things are a little bit out of control, and that's reflected in my mental state. I feel a little
Okay.
out of control and just all over the place. So I did a couple of cabinets. I didn't really have too much time, but I did do like where my glasses are and then a little bit with the mugs. I was remembering how that
Nancy,
Nancy said that people collect mugs, and I was like, why do I have 4 shelves of mugs and three of them I don't even ever use?
did you get rid of
So
some?
some, yes, but I need to still work. I didn't have the time to dedicate to like taking
Hmm.
everything out and really evaluating which ones are used, which ones are still good. Um,
Yeah.
but I even the process of doing a little bit, it made me feel better. So I just need to do more.
What do you mean it made you feel better?
Well, I like cleaning, but I think the hiccup that I have with getting it done is time. I feel like, oh, I need a whole day because I want to take everything out and I want to do
Mm.
the whole, like, do I need this? Do I not? Kind of thing.
You don't.
And
And you don't need a whole day.
no, I can take bits and pieces. Like I did a couple of drawers and that was fine. That took
Hmm.
maybe 10 minutes. And I just have to start because it just makes my mind in order, which then makes everybody happy.
That's a really good statement. It makes my mind in order.
Hmm.
Like that's good.
Well, my mom calls it when you declutter your space, you're really decluttering your mind.
I agree with that. I
Yeah,
agree with your mom. I do. And that's probably why my mind our all of us in my home, our minds are woo because we have just
yeah.
clutter. We do.
Well, I don't know if it's the chicken or egg, which thing makes you feel better.
Hmm. Well, if you ask my
So
daughter, it's the chicken, just saying. But anyway, well, I'm glad. So are you gonna continue?
I'm going to continue. And especially, I think next week things are going to slow down a little bit. So I'm excited for, I'm going to put some things on my schedule and this closet this day, this pantry this day, this
I
thing
think
this
it's
day.
funny that it's slowing down and then it's just probably gonna zoom right back up.
Oh, yeah. But I can't think about that because then I'll never get anything done.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is a great time to remind everybody that December 1st, we are starting our WIG program, our weigh in group. And
Hmm.
you and I will be weighing in as well.
Yes.
Did I
I'm
remind you of that just now?
well, it's kind of been on my mind. And okay, I'm going to just say what's on my mind
Okay,
because
tell
it's
us.
it's weird. I know. I'm like I started the scale started moving in a good direction for me. And I'm like, do I put a little pause on it because I want to weigh in.
Are we mentally disturbed that we do this?
I don't know. Like, well, if I weigh in lower, then I won't be that much weight loss. But that doesn't matter because then eventually I want to get to maintenance. So isn't that the point?
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I felt the same way.
I'm so twisted. I know.
I know. I know. Well, I'm a little bit twisted too because after we interviewed her last week, God, I'm so sorry, I can't remember her name. But
Tina.
after we interviewed her, I thought about her and I was like, okay, so we're weighing in on Wednesday. So Tuesday, I need to do my sugar 25 grams or less on Tuesdays for sure. Like
Mm-hmm.
my day before weigh-in day. So I don't know. I
Okay.
was using that episode to map out my strategy going into December.
Does weighing in make you nervous?
No, but it makes me committed.
Okay. I like that.
I'm not nervous to get on a scale. I get on a scale. I'm not nervous to show you my number at all. Um, I'm not. It makes me committed. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Yep. It does make
So
sense.
anyway, so that was my plan on that because I looked at my sugar and it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty
looked at
bad.
mine after you posted your about your sugar and I was like, yeah, that's not good. I'm not paying
I,
attention at all.
Me neither. So it was pretty eye-opening. I really am looking at that a lot more. And actually, what I'm more cognizant of is if I have a high sugar day, then my next day I make sure it's a low sugar day.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but where I struggle with this is I think limiting sugar is a great thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm a believer that fruit gives you good nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we should limit our fruit. And I know that's what Tina said when you're doing a detox.
Mm-hmm.
But like you get fiber and you get nutrients and you get vitamins. And if you miss that, you're missing some key
Right.
parts of your nutrition.
I agree.
So I don't want to limit my fruit because I'm limiting my sugar.
Right.
So I think that's where my boost comes is I tend to eat more fruit, especially if I'm
Okay.
craving something sweet.
I'll have to pay attention to that a little bit for myself,
I
but
kind of wish that on the app that we use that they would give you a space to put like added sugar.
added sugar versus naturally occurring or something. Yeah, maybe
Mhm.
they will be eventually. But that wasn't my call to action. That was just something I added in, was really paying attention to that. My call to action was to just take it one day at a time and
Mhm.
not get too ahead of myself. And I did great with it. Like I literally made sure that I was only focused on that week. I took my notebook and I broke it out into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then put things where they needed to go, like
Mhm.
clean the bathroom, do this, like where they needed to go. So it was all out of my head and all mapped out on paper.
And how did that help you?
I think it did. I really do. So
Did you get
we'll
everything
see.
done?
I got what I probably didn't get everything done, but nobody would know what I didn't get done. That's only me.
Mm. Yeah,
And that's the same thing with everybody, everything. Nobody knows everything you wanted to get done except you.
that's true.
So let it go. Like if somebody didn't see that I didn't wipe off like something, nobody knows that that was my plan and I didn't do it.
Right.
I'm the only one that knows. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So we actually had a sleepover party too with like 10 kids that night.
Oh, so
So that
fun.
was crazy in itself. But we made it through and it's all good. So
Did you have a good time?
yeah, but I didn't get my sleep.
Oh. What time did you go to bed that night then?
Off and on, but not officially till 11.
Wow, that's so late for
I mean,
you.
I was on the couch, like dozing and then yelling at them and then dozing and then like, do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah, I was late.
That's like halfway into your night.
I know.
Wow.
So anyway, I survived it. So let's jump in to battle versus war.
Yeah. So
Where did you
the
start?
I was looking up the difference between a battle and a war, and a battle is a conflict, and a war is multiple battles.
Okay, wait. I'm writing this down as you're saying this. A battle is a conflict.
Hmm.
Okay.
And a
I know.
war is multiple battles.
Okay.
And then I was a little confused because I thought I had an idea of what this means in terms of like your health journey. That sometimes maybe you won't pick the best thing, or sometimes you're going out to eat and you have to order the best option or something, whatever, off the menu. So that's a battle you might lose, but you're still in the war. You're still trying to get better health.
Mm. So this could be broken out into many, many different categories. Like your war could be a day, it could
Mm-hmm.
be a month, it could be a year, it could be your entire weight loss journey. Like
Yeah.
do you think that we need to figure out what exactly our war is, like define it?
I think that's a great idea because what is like basically we come out to what are you fighting for? What are you working
Oh,
towards? You know, if you are in a war for better health. So take me, for example. I'll give you, this is actually a perfect example.
okay.
So I was flying home last Friday and I had gotten to the airport early because I like to get to the airport early, even though I'm 5 minutes late everywhere else.
Well, that's a good thing.
No, it's a great thing. I
Yeah.
wish just that applied to everything else in my life. And so I was early and I walked around and I like, I made all my calls to people. And then I was like, I really am craving some M&Ms. And I had the whole talk with myself, like it's not good for you. It has color, it has a lot of sugar and stuff. I had the whole talk, but I was like, I'm really craving the M&Ms. I gave in, I bought them, I ate some, and I actually did not enjoy them.
Oh,
And
wait,
it was
before you keep going, you didn't eat the whole bag and then pause. You ate a
no,
couple.
yeah. I
Why
ate
did you
probably a
stop?
third of the bag. I just wasn't enjoying it. And I'm
Okay.
looking at the M&Ms and there's like bright blue and bright green and the colors were actually off-putting to me. This is something that I used to love, but even looking at it, I was like, this is poison. What am I doing? Why am I eating this? And it was a battle, I guess you could say that I lost, but it did not kick me out of the fight for my health.
Well,
So,
I would say, if anything, one, it's a battle that you started and you may have seemed like you were losing it,
mhm,
right?
yeah.
But you didn't lose it.
Well, maybe not all the way, but I did
Right.
lose the battle because I did buy the M&Ms, and to me that's the first
Mm.
step. I did consume some and then I talked myself out of doing any more damage. But it's an example of how sometimes we know what the right thing for ourselves is, but for some reason, whether it's peer pressure or self-pressure or um laziness, tiredness, fill in the blank, we don't do what we're supposed to do.
Why do you, if you had to navigate this, why do you think you did it? Bottom. Were you hungry?
Uh, I think I was probably a little bit hungry.
Okay.
I think I had had a
Were
lot
you
of
sad?
veggies. I was a little sad. I was leaving the
Okay.
sun. I was a little sad that I was getting back to real life and all the work that was waiting for me.
Right.
Um, I was by myself in an airport. I was
Okay, so you were hungry, you were lonely, you were tired.
mhm. Yes.
Isn't that halt? Hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Oh, yeah.
But you
Yes.
weren't angry. You were just I
No.
don't know. But you had three out of the four.
Well, I mean, you can put something else in angry. I was anxious.
Yeah. Anxious. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot of stuff happening, and I know that that's probably one of the reasons why I gave in to buying the M&Ms.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very purposeful. I didn't buy the giant bag because the airport only has like double king size of everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I just bought the little one, the snack size or whatever it's called, and that's
A
still
fun
sitting in my
size or
purse.
something.
Yeah, not
Wait,
the
you
tiny one.
kept them.
I need to throw them away.
I was gonna say, why didn't you?
I, I just haven't done I time.
Emergencies.
I guess.
I mean, you never know, right? All right,
But
so
it's
you technically, in your eyes, you lost that battle.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When you said, what are you fighting for? It made me realize that maybe figuring out the battle versus the war is a great way to figure out what our why is.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Well, and it also, where you need to know where you're going, which is your why or your war, or like, what are you fighting for? But at the same time, you need, um, what we talked about, I think, a couple of episodes ago. If this is your lifestyle, it's not your life.
What do you
So
mean?
if the war is your lifestyle, right? You're trying for
A healthy
healthier
lifestyle.
options and healthy foods and working out as much as you can, and just being zen in your mind. And those are all part of your healthy journey. But sometimes you have hiccups. Like maybe you've gone to a party, maybe you drank too much, maybe you ate too much, maybe you did whatever. That doesn't mean you've lost the war,
Mm,
and doesn't mean you've lost your why.
those are two very great points. And sometimes we feel that way and we let that feeling of the lost battle really derail us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like I will say, I know this is going to come out after Thanksgiving, but some of us may be feeling like we're losing the battle on Thanksgiving and then we give up
Mm-hmm.
and we like, whatever, I guess you could use surrender or whatever, just whatever, forget it. I can't handle this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a lot of the time where some of us give up until January.
Yes.
And we are completely, then we got to start a whole brand new war come January 1. Like, why are
Yes.
we doing that? Like, it's just a small battle. Um, we have to keep doing it. I think you said to me earlier, like, we have to protect our
Yeah. So
boundaries.
so
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
the military definition, which I went to next because I was like not really finding anything in terms of what I wanted to know. So here's a military definition. Okay. When a country tries to fight a war on two fronts, it often struggles to secure both. Sometimes more advisable to deal with one issue before proceeding. And if sometimes a front must be abandoned because there is not enough personnel to secure it. So if you think about this in terms of health and weight loss journey, if you are depleted, you're not going to be able to do everything right. And some areas are going to be completely neglected. So in
Okay.
fighting this battle or this war for your good health, you're losing many battles because you don't have a focus. You don't know where your energy should be spent.
You're spread too thin.
Yes. Yes.
You're like,
And I
I'm going to
think,
go to the gym. I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to eat my vegetables. I'm going to do all of these things instead of finding one spot to hone in and really win it.
mhm. And maybe that's your temporary victory and your long term war.
Mm,
Because we're not going to win everything and we're not supposed to. This is our life. We're learning things, we're experiencing things. And if we deny ourselves everything, where is the fun?
right.
I mean, that would make me very sad to not have a piece of cake on birthdays or
Mhm.
it's dessert on Thanksgiving, or I don't want my lifestyle to be void of those things.
Right. I really think that it's a great thing that you said. Where would the fun be? If we
To
won every single battle, maybe there wouldn't be any joy.
Well, if you really look at it literally, if you win all the battles, you're just going to be standing there alone because you won, but you're not having
Right.
fun. You're not with people. You're not engaged, and you're afraid to do all these things because you're going to lose those battles. I'm afraid to go out to restaurants, or I'm afraid to mess up my routine. I'm afraid to not work out. But that makes you alone.
This topic went in a different direction that I thought it would be. Because in my head, I was thinking like we really should try and win every battle, but maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should pick our battles.
Well, that's where I went next.
Okay,
So
go down this hole.
I was thinking about, where does it start? Why do we feel like it's battles, that we're fighting along the way? And when I was really kind of Googling this, I couldn't really find very much, but I did kept getting articles on parenting. So, and it was talking about parents and how they pick their battles with children.
Mhm.
So sometimes your kid wants to wear a frilly dress, but they need to be like playing on the playground. Is that something you really fight with them about?
Mm-mm.
Or if they really hate Brussels sprouts, but you're like, you have to eat it, you have to finish it,
Mhm.
or whatever it is. Like
Right.
these
I
are
just said
little,
this. There's a little girl at the school, then she came in with her hair all definitely wasn't brushed, like
yeah,
clearly wasn't
yeah.
brushed. And another person who is not a parent was like, I can't believe they send their kid to school looking like that. And I said, listen, that is a battle right there that I did not win a lot of times, and I didn't even try. I gave up the minute it was presented. I was like,
Hmm.
you win this one. Because that to me was a battle that wasn't worth it. There was a lot
Right.
of wars I had to, like, getting in the car was a war I had to win, or a battle I had to win.
Yes. Yep.
Like, there are some worth winning and fighting till you feel exhausted and really done. And there are some that are not worth it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. And
So
we
if we
had
take, yeah,
multiple
take
negotiations with this whole idea in mind. I remember when our kids were little, they're like, we need more video game time. I said, give me some reasons why. I had to write me an essay on why they deserve more video game
look
time.
at you.
Because you should be able to use logic to get what you want. And you're a kid, but
Mhm.
you still are smart. So it's I negotiated, and maybe I didn't win the battle completely and maybe they didn't win completely, but we had a compromise.
Mhm. Well, what I'm hearing is strategy too. Like, you had a strategy going into that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like some of these battles that we have, maybe we just need some more strategies in place.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure I know nothing about the military and I don't pretend to, but I'm sure there are many, many people that strategize and try really hard to beat a battle of any way, shape, or form. Like,
Yeah.
they put a lot of work into it. And I
Yes.
feel like maybe sometimes I need to do some of that work.
Mhm.
And I don't. I just go, "Oh, well, this is a battle. Oh boy, now what?" Like, I'm not putting the work in before it gets to that full-fledged need that I you know what I mean? Am I making sense with what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you carry that idea a little bit further, we are I was talking to my kids about this topic, and I'm going to give you some of the examples they gave me, but we are in it with our kids. We're fighting the war every day. We're winning little battles, losing little battles. We're in
Mhm.
it. When it comes to ourselves, and you could put kids, you could put any other family member. It doesn't have to be necessarily kids. You can
Right.
fight hard for somebody else. When it comes
Mhm.
to yourself, you're like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to lose the battle anyway. Who cares? And then you give up on yourself, which further encourages you to be discouraged and disappointed. So
So
then,
you're so right. It makes me a little sad because we will fight till the death for other people's battles.
mhm,
But when it comes to us, we're just putting our weapons down and going, "Whatever."
yes, absolutely.
And then what we're really doing is we're prolonging the war.
Yeah. Yep. So here, okay, I found this list kind of interesting. So I'm going to share it with you. Okay. So when I started picking their brains about things that we struggled with when they were growing up,
Mhm.
and so some good for you foods, which I made them eat, but they didn't want to, like certain vegetables, or I would have like a vegetable, a protein, and a carb on their plate. And sometimes they didn't really like the thing that I gave them, but it's what I made. So they had to eat it. Um,
Did they feel like that was a battle?
yeah, I think so, because sometimes they didn't really
Okay.
want it at all. And I think, in hindsight, I don't know if I really listened to them as well as I should have. Like
Oh, no, I'm sure we don't.
you
I
know,
didn't.
if they're not hungry, I'm still like, you got to eat something because you have to go do X, Y, and Z. So you need to finish your food. So
Mhm.
that was the second one, is finishing food. And I would push them to clean their plate when they were done. Uh, Going to a restaurant that they didn't like because they didn't like the cuisine. So suppose somebody doesn't like Mexican, and we went to a Mexican restaurant, and they would have to find something to eat there because that's all the choices there are. These are little
Mhm.
battles that they would lose. Um, This is a funny one. Going to someone's house and not liking the food, but your mom's like, you got to eat something,
Mm.
which was the
You
mom of
gotta
me.
eat something. Did you make them eat something?
Something, like find
They
something.
must remember you did.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um,
Hmm.
hating food and not being able to tell me.
Oh, how does that one make you feel?
It makes me a little sad. I kind of wish they had, but I wonder if I would have listened,
Okay. That's fair. You might,
you
maybe you
know?
wouldn't have.
At that time, I don't know if I would have, because you think kids are just like being dramatic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then not being, oh, my daughter said she had some weird associations with certain types of foods. So I made this particular like soup on rainy days. And she said, whenever I ate that soup, it made me think of bad weather. So she
Oh,
wouldn't she
okay.
wouldn't want it because it made her feel a certain way. But I was like, who cares? I'm still making it. That's convenient for
Mm-hmm.
me. So
Interesting.
I think a lot of these struggles come early on. And if you think about not being heard or not being listened to or not being able to advocate for yourself as a child, I think that carries over as an adult. And the reason why we can't do this for ourselves is because it feels like it doesn't matter.
Mm.
But clearly that's not true.
It does
It,
matter.
it does matter.
Mm-hmm. So did your kids like just come up with these right off the top of their head when you asked them what were some
Oh,
battles you felt like you lost as a kid?
once the door was open, I was like, oh my
You're like,
God.
sorry I asked. Jeez.
There were some funny moments that came out of it, but I was like, that's really good to know.
I like this though. I think it's a great topic to talk about with your family. Like, what are battles that you feel like you've lost
Yeah.
or
And
won?
or one, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, and I think the important thing, which is really hard, is when we're in the moment, like you were saying, when we're in the battle, we think we've been defeated. But that doesn't
Hmm.
no necessarily mean it's true. If tomorrow you eat um your full Thanksgiving dinner and then you have a piece of pie and then you have a piece of cake and then you have a midnight snack and like you have all the things and you feel gross and bloated and you don't feel good, it does not mean that you've lost the war.
That is exactly what I need to remember because I am very guilty of saying like I blew it. I blew the whole week or whatever. And you're right. You didn't, it's just a little battle you lost,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I thought this was because I had an idea going into it, but okay, here's another. Then I went to this humanities.org, and they were talking about people use the term pick your battles to suggest that people would be well advised to select a specific issue of importance to focus on rather than trying to deal with too many things at once. So if you take an example of working out, right? I
Hmm.
had a half an hour today, and my choice was I didn't do a full hour and I didn't get weights in, but I did something because that was my battle to be won today. So individuals may also hear this saying rendered as choose your battles, and many people append wisely when offering this piece of advice. So people will say choose your battles wisely. If for me, moving my body was the wisest choice today, that's what I'm going to do, regardless of
Oh,
how that happens.
so I like it's just a slight wording change right there.
Hmm.
Choose your battles wisely.
Yeah.
I,
I
I,
mean,
I it's just a subtle change, but it means a lot different.
yes. And we can't get so microscopic that we can't see the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what this member was saying was she has lost a significant amount of weight and she moves every day. She's like walking 3 miles and she's doing great things for herself. She's very active and busy. But if she goes to look at her day, maybe she didn't get to do the workout she wanted, or maybe
Mhm.
she
Her
didn't.
steps were down, or
Mhm.
you hurt your foot, so you had to sit on the couch for a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
you may be losing the battle today, but you're winning the war overall.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. It's a great way to change the mindset on this whole thing.
Yeah. And I think that's the point is we really, we do a lot of topics about mindset for that reason is we have to look at this differently. We
Hmm.
get so hung up on a microscopic moment, but that doesn't define the whole picture.
Correct. Does not at all.
Yeah,
It's a great thing to remember going into the last half of this year.
absolutely.
Last half, the
Absolutely.
last month of the year, I mean. Like, it's really important to remember, like, the battle, you can lose a cookie battle, but you just, it's okay. The next day you got another one, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. And maybe that's the wrong battle then. Maybe the
Yeah.
battle, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking, and maybe you decide to not have a battle today.
Oh,
Meaning you say, I'm just gonna do nothing and sit on the couch and not have a battle today.
yes.
Take a little mental break. And that's like, I be like, I've had a battle every day this week or every meal this week, or I just need to not have a battle today. I think
Yep.
there's somebody else that said, um, in our call to action group, she said, she just tells people my plate is as full as I'd like it.
Yep.
Kind of along those lines is like, I don't want a battle today. I'm just good. Like when I
Yeah,
didn't pick them with my daughter, I was like, that is not what I'm taking. I'm out. I'm just not doing it. Like
yeah,
that's exactly what we all need to remember. Don't put yourself in front of the M&Ms. That's a battle that you might not win. Well, I mean,
exactly.
I'm not directing that at you, but you know what I mean.
Of course. But that is directed at me because if that was my thing and I saw it in
Right.
front of me, why would I not take one? Or if it was
Why
pink
are we
cookies.
bringing home the cookies, the Oreo cookies from the store? Just to put the battle in your living room. Like, leave the battle at the store. Leave it there. Don't bring
Well,
it in the house.
yes, if you buy it, that's the battle that you lost, but then you are sort of
You,
sabotaging yourself and you're
mhm,
losing the war. Yep.
mhm. Win it in the store and say no. You
Yes.
won that battle. Because once you come home, you got to battle it over and over and over and over again.
Hmm. And then you got
Ugh.
to keep saying no, and then you got to say I paid for it and I don't
Yeah,
want to
you have a,
waste it. And
yes, there's a battle every time you look at it now.
mhm.
And we are exhausted from a million other battles. Like, that's one that we don't need right now.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. There's so
Yeah.
many else things, so many other things to worry about.
Ugh, I know. So true. So, do you have a call to action this week?
I am going to continue the cleanup
Okay.
because it's just every closet in my house is a disaster. So I'm going to schedule every day next week when I'm home some space to be cleaned up.
Okay. Oh, some space, like some area, like a desk or a bathroom drawer or a shelf or, okay.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Some space to clean. Okay.
Hmm.
All
I like the
right.
way you're writing it down so that I could be
I,
accountable to
I'm writing it down because
you.
just before we started recording, I went, "Oh my gosh, what was my call to action? I can't even remember what it was."
So what are you
Um,
working on next week?
mine is a two-parter. I have to make time, which is going to be hard, to go to a store and pick out a new brain dump journal. I'm empty. I have no journals. I usually have like a
Wow.
ton that I'm ready and I'm writing in. And I'm filling it up and I only have a couple more days for it. So I have to do that because I know if I don't, that's an important piece to my morning and my day
Hmm.
and setting the tone. So I have to figure out how to make that fit in there. Um, make time for a journal. And then the other part is I need to continue with that tracking. And I've noticed that I'm getting a little bit oh well, you know what? I forgot that. We'll just, it's all right. It doesn't count.
Hmm.
So I'm getting a little bit like lazy, forgetful, or which legitimately some of it is forgetful. And then I'm at the end of the night, I'm trying to remember it all and I don't remember it all. So I feel like I need to maybe take pictures of it more,
Yeah.
or try to find a different way to remember what I'm eating in that moment, so that at the end of the night when I'm putting it in, I can do it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to work on my tracking skills.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about that.
So we'll see how that one goes. But
I'm
that's
excited.
it.
That
I
sounds
know.
good. Well,
Well, enjoy the time with your children. I know they're all three home with you, right?
yes, I'm in
Good.
heaven right now. So enjoy the
Good.
time with your family.
Enjoy
Are
it.
you hosting?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
I
oh,
am.
happy
A
Thanksgiving.
bunch of people.
We
Yeah,
also
same to you.
I was showing my sheet with all everybody's signatures, and you and I both have this tradition and
Oh,
independently.
yeah.
So we have a Thanksgiving, you have a tablecloth, I have a sheet,
Hmm.
and everybody has signed something from the year that they were here. And mine is 25 years old, and I'm going to post a picture of it.
I will
Um,
post mine as well. Mine is 13 years old,
okay.
I think, somewhere around there, maybe 14 years old.
It's weird because we never really talked about it. And then I saw your post and I was like, I've never heard of anybody else doing it besides
I
me.
know, I can't believe it. I can't believe you and I both do it, but
Yeah.
I pulled it out and it's on the table right now, ready to go. So,
Cool. Well, have a
yeah.
nice one.
All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.